But I
Yep.
think one of the hardest skills or hardest things that we have to work with, and I think you did this very well, and it's a can of worms. Change. When we start talking about change,
Yeah.
tell us your philosophy and why you wrote about it in your books, what you do.
I think it's a really important subject. And a lot of the studies have found that a lot of change initiatives don't succeed. They don't produce the desired results. And so I tried to figure out, why is that? What's going wrong? Why does it fall apart? Or why does the change agent or leader not accomplish what they had hoped to accomplish? And I was involved with some major change initiatives in my career. And in some cases, it comes down to answering some really basic questions. And one of them that I found was very basic, is who has to change, first of all? What group of people? Is it the middle managers? Is it the all employees in the company? Who exactly has to change? And the second question is, what specifically do they need to do differently? How do they need to change their behavior? I was working with a vice president in marketing role one time, and he said to me, I was in training and development, and he said to me, I want my sales reps to be world class. And I said, okay, that's great. I said, what does world class look like? What does that
Mm,
mean? And he had a blank and he didn't have an answer to my question. I said, I don't know what world class means to you. I'm not sure what you're expecting to accomplish, but you got to start with, what exactly do you want them to start doing that they're not doing today? And as basic as that question sounds, it's very important. And I've also heard lots of leaders talking, our employees need to be more entrepreneurial. And I say, okay, great. What does that mean?
yeah.
Or we need to have a culture that's customer focused. Great idea. Tell me exactly, what does that mean? What does that look like? How will people behave differently next week? Or what do you want them to be doing differently next week? And a lot of those basic questions, the senior leader can't answer precisely the change that they want to make. So things often fall apart right there. So I would always question and probe and get them to define very precisely, what change do you want to make? And then the question is this group of people that needs to change, are they able to change and are they willing? Able and willing, I think, are really important, because sometimes they're not able, so you got to provide training and mentoring and coaching. Sometimes they're not willing, they're not motivated, their plate's already overflowing with 28 other things they're doing. There's just so much going on in their world that they can't take on another change initiative. Sorting that out and being realistic about what changes will work and what can they handle and how much change is appropriate, and that's really important. And then, of course, having a good plan to make it happen. People don't just change because you tell them to change. You need a plan. It needs to be well thought out. It normally involves training, incentives, support. So there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle to make the change successful.